This look good? Alright. Well, it's nice to see that even with how long it's been since I've last done one of these videos in front of the green screen here, the camera work isn't complete garbage, but that obviously isn't the point of the video. So instead of waiting 2 minutes to get to the actual content of the video, I'm just gonna get to it right now, okay? Rockstar, son, listen, you and I, we need to have a very important sit down, okay? We need to have a good old-fashioned talk. A combo, as the kids put it. Alright? Listen, son. You know I love you. But you're obviously not perfect. And if I'm to help you, then I'm gonna have to be honest with you, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. When it comes to making games, specifically single-player games, you're one of the best in the business. Hell, maybe even the best. But on the other side of the spectrum, when it comes to multiplayer games, and I'm sure this probably won't lead to anything substantial changing, considering Stepdaddy Take-Two isn't gonna listen. But it's at least worth a try, right? So listen, son. When it comes to multiplayer, how do I put this? You have a lot of issues to work. No, that isn't right. That wouldn't be honest enough. I don't want to sugarcoat this or put it lightly, because I need to be straight up honest with you. You're bad at making multiplayer games. Actually, no, you're terrible at making multiplayer games. You're garbage at them. You're awful at making multiplayer games, and you just need to stop, okay? It was cute with GTA Online since that was your first real try at it, beyond just GTA 4 and Red Dead Redemption 1, but after that, the excuses, they're gone, and we need to talk about this. So, I'm going to start off with GTA Online and how it's led to where we are today. So, let's talk about it. So, GTA Online. Now, for those who don't remember, GTA Online was the multiplayer component of the game GTA 5. GTA 5 itself launching with the single player alone September 2017 of 2013, with GTA Online launching October 1st later that year. Now, I'm sure everybody remembers this, but there was a shitload of hype for GTA Online, and with good reason. Sure, there were other Rockstar multiplayers before that, such as GTA 4's multiplayer and Red Dead Redemption 1, but those were really just fun side throwaway modes that you could play with your friends. GTA Online, on the other hand, was going to be the first fully fleshed out multiplayer AAA experience from Rockstar, with all sorts of side missions, somewhat of a story, heists that took over a year to finally come to the game, and to top it all off, the single player DLC for the game, or more specifically, the single-player DLCs, which were originally planned to continue the campaign, were scrapped in favor of Rockstar putting all the resources into online. But we'll get into that later, don't you worry. And with all this hype culminated, what people would thought to be the best multiplayer experience ever. I mean, this is Rockstar, right? So, with how great their single-player is, that means that their multiplayer has to be just as great. And considering what little experience they have from previous games that they've made, this is only a good thing. Until it launched. And plays a part in what defines what game launches were in 2013 and 2014. Completely broken, unplayable, and something you should probably wait at least a few months to finally pick up, because what's the point of picking it up at launch if it's not going to work in the first place? But people decided to give Rockstar excuses, you know. This was their first major multiplayer game that they were putting together, something they have never really tried before. All this content, all these promises they had made, never something like this they had done with a previous game in the series. Or for any game they had ever made in general. And whatever multiplayer they decide to do beyond GTA Online, they will definitely have learned from the mistakes from. And the next multiplayer game they make will be far better. Amazing at launch, perfect, no flaws whatsoever. And leading up to that, they had worked on GTA Online, fixing it, making it so that it was a somewhat competent multiplayer game. Filling it to the brim with all sorts of microtransactions and all sorts of exploits that took months to fix because they were too lazy to fix the problems when they actually first appeared. And making so much money that, once again, why make single-player DLC? Sure, there's a lot of demand for it, and sure, we promised it, but Fuck that white noise. So after years of constant improvements and brand new content being added to GTA Online, and the lack of single-player DLC again, after all that time, Red Dead Redemption 2 was announced. A lot of hype for it because of how great Red Dead Redemption 1 was, even with how badly it's aged, but I'll probably get into that some other point. So considering GTA 5 had GTA Online, considering Red Dead Redemption 2 was now a thing that officially existed, this would mean Red Dead Online most likely. And considering Rockstar has no doubt learned from all their mistakes having to do with GTA Online, I'm sure they'll do even better with Red Dead Online. Right? So, Red Dead Online. After 5 years of waiting since the release of GTA Online, here we are with Red Dead Online. No doubt Rockstar's learned from all their mistakes. I mean, they're even releasing a beta beforehand. So instead of putting out a full release that's completely broken, instead the beta will be there to address all the issues with the game before it's fully launched. Sure, the gameplay in Red Dead Redemption 2 itself isn't perfect, but that doesn't mean it can't translate well to multiplayer. And then there is also the microtransactions from GTA Online, which are inevitable for Red Dead Online considering it's Red Dead Online. But I'm sure Rockstar's learned from their mistakes with that too, right? Sure, they made at least $1 billion from GTA Online, but that isn't a bad sign of things to come. It only means they've learned. They had to, right? And then, Red Dead Online happened. And wow, who would have thought that a gun that you could get for maybe a few $100s in real life, you could get for a few $1,000s in a game, in a time in which currency was nowhere near as inflated as it is now in 2019. And wow, would you look at that? Gameplay that's even clunkier than GTA Online ever was. And what's that? New content that was planned to come was just as dull and boring and took forever to actually happen? Wow. But yes, Red Dead Online launched in a not-so-good state. Sure, it's a beta, but the whole point of a beta is to get rid of the issues that are present in it so that the full release is good to go. Sure, the microtransactions were inevitably toned down a bit because of community backlash, but still, the product itself, at its core, it's just not good. And considering the mechanics that were already put into the game itself, it's not really a surprise that it doesn't play all that well. Sure, it works good enough in single player, for the most part. Because of the fact that you're fighting AIs, it's tolerable. But considering you're fighting other players in online, it's not so tolerable. There's also the whole customization system, which is barely improved from GTA Online. Instead of being fully fleshed out with all sorts of details that you can put into your character, it's just choosing a few options, and that's it. There's nothing substantial there. It's lifeless and dull. Just like Red Dead Online overall. It's just boring. The character models, ugly and boring. The world and the content, it's just boring. It works great for single player when you're just riding around, but multiplayer, it's awful. And it just led to more people being pissed off and less people playing this than there already are with GTA Online. Somehow that game has a community. But I think it's because people tolerate that was the first time Rockstar, once again, was doing this. But second time around, not so much. So while Rockstar's single-player games definitely hold up, the multiplayer, not so much. And the fact that this is what we're getting in exchange for single-player DLC only makes it more depressing to see. Oh, speaking of which, you know how great all that single-player DLC for GTA 4 and Red Dead Redemption 1 was? Yeah. Sorry guys, but even though we've promised it, it's not coming. And what's that? You thought it was coming for Red Dead Redemption 2? Ha! Nah. Multiplayer. Red Dead Online. So much better. And this is where one of the major issues of Rockstar Online games stems from. It just feels so lazy in comparison to a full-on, fully in-depth, well-written, single-player expansion pack. Sure, you have to spend some money, of course, but I'd rather spend $15 to $20 on a quality expansion pack instead of fucking multiplayer microtransactions with a half-baked multiplayer mode that's just terrible at its core. And that makes people wonder, what exactly is the future beyond Red Dead Online? I mean, there's no way they can make an even worse online mode with what I assume is going to be Bully Online next. Oh god, I can only imagine that. What's that? That bike in real life only costs $200? Well, in this game, it costs about $2,000, and that's the basic version. You want the best version of the bike? Only $50,000. Don't worry, it only takes 365 real days of grinding. That's not too much to ask for, right? Or you could just buy it right on the spot for about $50. Hey, it's good content, right? So who cares? And that's what my biggest fear is. This is why multiplayer games from Rockstar are just bad. They're poorly put together, they're half-baked, they're not fun, they lack personality, they're very tedious, they're way too grindy, the business practices with them are absolutely awful, and frankly, people are just sick of it. Sure, there's rumors of a Red Dead Redemption 1 remaster for Red Dead 2, as well as possible single-player DLC from what I've heard, but until something is actually confirmed, there's no reason to believe it's actually ever gonna happen. And considering how Rockstar is as a company right now, I'd be very surprised if it actually ever did happen. People are just tired of the shit Rockstar and Take-Two have been pulling for over 5 years now. People just want fun single-player campaigns from Rockstar. Sure, there's plenty of people that like the multiplayer, but that doesn't mean Rockstar at the very least can't please both audiences. Of course they can, they have the money and resources. Just look at all the money they made from just selling GTA 5 itself. 100 million copies? That's quite a bit last time I checked. And the worst part about this is that Rockstar knows they can do so much better. We know they can do so much better. GTA 4 and Red Dead Redemption 1's DLC prove that. And if it means having to spend $15 to $20 on some DLC, then we'll do it. As long as it means some quality single-player experiences to expand upon the main game itself, then sure, go ahead. So, really, I guess the moral of the story is, Rockstar, unless you can actually pull a third time's the charm with your next game, then you might as well just give up because people are done with the excuses. People are done giving you a slap on the wrist. If you're gonna make multiplayer, make sure it's not shit. Make sure it's competent. Make sure it's fun. And don't try to sneak in all these terrible, terrible microtransactions just because you think you have the excuse of it being a beta. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Do it a third time, fuck you, I give up completely. So while it is always exciting to get a brand new Rockstar single player experience, when you remember that now online is most definitely guaranteed to be a part of it and it's just gonna be half-baked and terrible most likely, kinda makes you think, yes, I'm excited, but no, I'm not. But I'm sure some people will always manage to be hyped no matter what because it's Rockstar, and they can do no wrong. Yeah, tell that to all the employees that had to deal with 100-hour work weeks. I'm sure they'll definitely agree with you on that. In general, I just want to see things change with Rockstar. Don't get me wrong, I'd love for them to make multiplayer. But as of now, with all the mistakes they constantly make, it's just hard to feel hopeful. In general, I just want to love Rockstar outside of the main base single player. They want to do more, then by all means do so. No doubt Take-Two definitely supports your endeavors and probably has a say in it. But at the very least, make something that's fun. That's all we ask for. And I don't mean in the sense of relying on fucking around with your friends to have something fun. I mean in the sense of the core game itself is actually fun. That's all we ask of you. Is it really that difficult? You're not some small indie developer. You're one of the biggest AAA companies in the world. You have no excuses. So that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Sure, this video probably would have been a bit more relevant a few months back, but better late than never, right? So that's it. That's the rant. Hope you liked it. Like, comment, subscribe, share on social media. Do whatever you can to support the video. Everyone likes to grow on this platform, so hey, what can I say? So that's it, and I'll see you all next time. But until then, I'm out.